going to make veggie burgers with watermelon blueberry salsa on top. So we're going to start with the veggie burgers. So first thing you need to do is get yourself an onion, garlic, 2 carrots, okay? You're going to chop them all up or cut them into small sized pieces, and then you're going to put them in the food processor so they get a little bit smaller. Okay, so once you have everything kind of chopped up a little bit, you're just going to take your food processor and just plop the onions and the garlic right in. Maybe cut your carrots in half too, just so they're ready to go. Then just plop it right on. Put the lid on. And then just go ahead and pulse it. You don't want it to be chopped too finely, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, so it should look maybe not quite there yet. A little bit longer here. Perfect. So it's chopped up, and you're just going to cook that in with your rice. Okay? Okay. So once you have all your ingredients together for the rice, this rice has already been pre-cooked, but we're going to cook it a little bit more, get it nice and warm. So you're going to put in 2 cups of rice, and you're going to grab a spoon. Come over here. And scoop all this delicious carrots and garlic and onions right in with the rice. If you don't get it all out, you're just going to keep using this food processor, so you don't even need to get it all out. It's all going to go into the veggie burgers and make them nice and delicious. Alright, and then you're going to take your vegetable broth, and you're going to use about 1 cup and 3/4 probably of the broth. Alright, once you have all that in there, you're going to put it on the stove and you're going to go ahead and boil that until the rice is cooked. This is already pre-cooked, so it'll only take about 10 minutes, but usually if you go from just regular rice, it will take about 40-45 minutes. Okay. So while your rice is cooking on the stove, you're going to go ahead and work on your salsa, because that should be in the refrigerator for 30 minutes before you eat it anyway. So you're going to start with 4 small Roma tomatoes. Just plop them right in once they're washed. I already washed them into the food processor. A half an onion, some ginger, not garlic, ginger, and a jalapeno pepper. But you're going to just chop it up, make sure you take the seeds out. If you leave seeds in, it'll be very spicy. So just take, some seeds out, leave some in if you want it really spicy. For the ginger, you're probably just going to use about, it's up to you how much you want to use, maybe just 1/4 of this amount. So, and you're just going to put it in the food processor so it gets all grated up with that. So once you have all your tomatoes, your onions, your jalapeno, and your ginger ready to go, just put it in the food processor. And you don't want this to be watery, so you just want to go, just pulse it until it's kind of chunky, but definitely will produce some liquid, but you don't want it to be only liquid. So. Should look about like this consistency when you're done. Got it? So next up, you're going to get the other ingredients that you're going to add to your food processor mixture together. So you're going to use cilantro. I've already washed this, some organic fresh cilantro, the juice of 1 lime, and then we're going to chop up some watermelon. I kind of cheated. I bought the cut up already. We're just going to cut it up just a little bit more. So you can just go ahead and just cut the cilantro with a knife, use a scissors if you want to, whatever is easiest. You don't want it to be terribly small, but you don't want huge bites of cilantro either. Alright, so once that's all chopped up, then you're just going to go ahead. If you have a juicer for the lime, that will work very well. Or, you can just use your hands. So I'm just going to squeeze it right into the bowl here. Yeah, squeeze really hard. Get all that juice out. You're looking for about 3 tablespoons. So If your hands are strong, you can probably definitely get that out with some good squeezing. Okay, there we go. One more. All right, so once you have everything squeezed in there, cilantro chopped up, go ahead and chop up your pieces of watermelon. They don't have to be very small, but small enough, like bite-size pieces. Okay? And you're gonna mix all the things together. Okay. All right, so once you have your watermelon and your cilantro and your lime ready to go, then you're just gonna take your mix from the food processor, the tomatoes and the onion and ginger and jalapeno, and you're just gonna put it right in. And stir it, get everything mixed well. Ooh, it's pretty, very pretty. Some big chunks of tomatoes though. All right, so looks like this now. Then I'm going to add some blueberries. So I have some organic blueberries. You really want to go organic when you're eating berries because they get sprayed a lot. They're on the Dirty Dozen list, so you want to make sure you get organic blueberries. And they're plentiful right now because it's July. And I'm going to go ahead and wash these first, and then I'm going to put them right in. Okay, so once you have it all mixed together, you've added the washed blueberries. You're just going to go ahead and put in some salt. And just depending on how salty you like things, keep going and stop when you're done. You can salt it to taste. So stir that salt in. And you're going to cover it and put it in the refrigerator while you finish making the veggie burger. All right, so now we're back to making the veggie burgers, and you're going to use walnuts. So you're going to just use about 1.5 cups of walnuts. Make them nice and walnutty flavored. Things don't need to be super precise. You can always add more or add more if you need to later. If it's not mashing well together, you might need more walnuts. So you want to put those in the food processor, and you're going to process them until they're almost a floury texture. And maybe a little bit longer. Okay. So you want them to be processed to about that. Fine. And then you're going to add your rice and egg and some seasonings to this, and just keep processing. So you take this rice that I have over here and just dump it right in. I'm not going to put it all in yet because I want to make sure we have the right consistency. So put some of that in. Next up, we're going to put in 1 egg. And just put it right in. And because you don't want the egg to cook weirdly real fast, we'll just process it right up. And that way it's all mixed in there. And then we're going to add some tahini sauce. This is not necessary, but this is something I just found recently. It's from heirloom sesame seeds. You can make your own tahini sauce out of sesame seeds if you just put them in the food processor. But anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and put in about a spoonful of the tahini sauce. We can always add more later. That's the beauty of frying things while you cook. Alright. And we're going to go ahead and process that a little bit more. So you could add all the spices that you want before you start processing, but I'm always so impatient to get it going, so I usually just add some spices at the end, but make sure it's all well mixed. So I'm gonna add some fennel seed, and it's not chopped up yet, so I have a mortar and pestle, and I'm just putting a little bit in the bowl, and I'm just gonna smash it down a little bit to release some of the flavor. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I don't know, spend a couple minutes mashing it down. It's a good workout too. Alright, so once it's mashed up just a little bit, it doesn't look too much different than it did originally. It's probably about a tablespoon and a half of fennel. Just going to sprinkle that in there. And some turmeric, maybe about a teaspoon or so. I don't like measuring, so I'm just going to sprinkle some in. And I have this delicious alder smoked sea salt, and we're going to try that in there as well. So I'm just going to grab a little spoon. And you can always add more later, so don't go too crazy. Probably about a half a teaspoon of salt. Then I'm going to go back to processing for a bit. You want to be able to roll them into balls to make the burgers. So that's the kind of consistency I'm looking for here. A little bit longer. That looks just about right here. So you can see definitely if I mash it together, it will stay together. Okay, so now it's time to cook your burgers. So I'm just going to use some extra virgin coconut oil and put it on the skillet, and we're going to cook the burgers in that. I've already put some on. It's heating up. So what you're going to do, you want to make sure I've already washed my hands, but you want to make sure your hands are a little wet. And then you're just going to take some of your stuff, your paste, your burger material, and you're just going to pat them together, make them into balls. And then you're going to put it on the plate. I've placed some sesame seeds and some paprika on the plate, and you're just going to kind of smash it down into that. And turn it over, smash it down on the other side. And then you're just going to take that burger and put it right onto the skillet. The skillet's heating up, so we're going to make a bunch of them all over the pan, and we'll come back and show you what it looks like. So keep them cooking, and when you're ready, you want them to be nice and crispy on the outside. I'm just going to go ahead and flip them over. I'd say they could go a little bit longer, so I'll just flip that one and then keep the other ones going for a few more minutes. So they're just about ready to serve. They finished cooking. We flipped them over, and I'm just going to put two on a bed of lettuce. And make sure that lettuce is all tucked in there nicely. And then I'm going to come over to my salsa that we made earlier that's been sitting in the fridge. And I'm just going to put some right on top. Some nice, delicious blueberries, watermelon, cilantro. Oh, such an interesting summer salad. All right. And then you just go ahead and eat. And I have a few notes. This was my first time making this dish, so I think the veggie burgers could definitely have used a little more salt. So feel free to add a little bit more to yours. And also the salsa could have been chopped a little bit finer, so we could have left it in the food processor a little bit longer, and that would have gotten rid of some of the giant tomato chunks. And the watermelon should have been chopped a little smaller as well. And I think that would make it a lot more delicious. And maybe a little pepper with the salsa, and then let the flavors combine. So let it sit in the fridge for at least an hour. We didn't let it sit that long, and it was not well combined. So I think those things will make the dish absolutely amazing.